evening. Welcome to the Hult Center, home of the 2025 State of the City. My name is Matt Keating, Eugene City Councilor for Ward 2, South Eugene, City Council President, and your host for tonight's event. We are delighted, thrilled with the presence of our performers tonight, who have vanished now, I see. It's the magic of theater. Thank you to the Eli Hansen Trio for performing this evening. Please join me in appreciating their opening performance, as we will hear from them later tonight. Thank you. And in a tradition that has been paved the way by our now Mayor Emeritus, Lucy Vinnis. And if you're going to be dispensing applause all around, Mayor Kitty Piercy to the mayor's right. I bring up Mayors Piercy and Vinnis because it is in your tradition that I will do a land acknowledgement this evening. Since time immemorial, the Kalapuya people have been the indigenous stewards to our region, building dynamic communities, maintaining balance with wildlife, and enacting sustainable land practices. This land acknowledgement is a way of resisting the erasure of indigenous histories and to honor the native communities by inviting truth and reconciliation. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were disposed of their indigenous homeland by the United States government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation in Western Oregon. As we consider the impacts of colonization, we also acknowledge the strength and resiliency of displaced indigenous people. The city of Eugene is built within the traditional homelands known as Kalapuya Ilahi. Kalapuya descendants are the citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde Community of Oregon and the Confederated Tribes of the Siletz Indians of Oregon. They continue to make vital contributions to our communities here and across these lands. We express our deep respect for the inherent political sovereignty of all federally recognized tribal nations and indigenous peoples who live in the state of Oregon and across this nation. At this juncture, I would like to invite City Recorder Katie LaSala to the podium to administer the oaths of office for City of Eugene officials. Mayors and councilors, please come to the front of the stage for the oath and a photograph, and your family members are also welcome to join you on stage, and I will be joined by my wife, Becca Keating. First up, Mayor Kaarin Knudson.
Mayor Knudson, please raise your right hand. Repeat after me. I, Kaarin Knudson.
I, Kaarin Knudson.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the state of Oregon.
And the state of Oregon.
And that I will, to the best of my ability.
And that I will, to the best of my ability.
Faithfully perform the duties of Eugene Mayor.
Faithfully perform the duties of Eugene Mayor.
During my continuance therein.
During my continuance therein.
And this I do swear, so help me God.
And this I do swear, so help me God.
Congratulations. Oh, Councilor Kaczynski. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Eliza Kaczynski.
I, Eliza Kaczynski.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
That I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And the state of Oregon.
And the state of Oregon.
And that I will, to the best of my ability.
And I will, to the best of my ability.
Faithfully perform the duties of Eugene City Councilor.
Faithfully perform the duties of Eugene City Councilor.
During my continuance therein.
During my continuance therein.
And this I do affirm under pain and penalty of perjury.
And this I do affirm under pain and penalty of perjury.
Congratulations. Counselor Keating?
Go back up.
Thank you, Senator.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Matthew K. Keating,
I, Matthew K. Keating,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Oregon,
and the state of Oregon,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully perform the duties of Eugene City Councilor
faithfully perform the duties of Eugene City Councilor
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein.
And this I do swear, so help me God.
And this I do swear, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Counselor Groves, please raise your right hand, repeat after me. I, Randy Groves,
I, Randy Groves,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Oregon,
and the state of Oregon,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
and that I will, to the best of my ability,
faithfully perform the duties of Eugene City Councilor
faithfully perform the duties of Eugene City Councilor
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein.
And this I do swear, so help me God.
And this I do swear, so help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Counselor Keating.
Thank you, Katie. And again, thank you to folks who are joining us this evening. I'd just like to go around the horn and introduce my colleagues on the council, starting with Ward 1 City Councilor Eliza Kaczynski. Ward 3, Councilor Alan Zelenka. Ward 4, batting cleanup, Councilor Jennifer Ye. Ward 5, at the hot corner, Councilor Mike Clark. Our shortstop, Ward 6, Councilor Greg Evans. She would be in left field because of Ward 7. You see what I'm doing? Councilor Lindsay Leach is ill this evening and unable to join us. So please keep Councilor Leach in your thoughts. And if I were coaching a softball team and put this guy in center field, that would be a bad mistake, but it's a pleasure to serve with you. Ward 8, Councilor Randy Groves. And finally, Mayor Kaarin Knudson. I'd also like to thank a few folks who are in the audience with us tonight and recognize individuals for their service and dedication to our community. Senator James I. Manning, Jr. I've mentioned them, they're sitting together, and they have left one heck of a legacy and footprint, imprint, and thumbprint, and you name it, their print is on this community. Mayors Kitty Piercy and Lucy Vinnis. I see EWEB commissioners here. I see county commissioners here. If you're we'd be here all night. If you are an elected official, please stand and raise your hand and be recognized for your service and your sacrifice to this community. Are there any federal, state, tribal officials who have joined us here tonight? I want to recognize your service to this community as well. And I want to take this opportunity to recognize individuals who have served or are serving on any of our boards, commissions, and committees that make recommendations to the City Council on policy and help advise staff. If you are participating or have participated in a commission, board, or committee, please stand and be recognized. On behalf of the City Council, we thank you for your service, we thank you for your sacrifice, and encourage all members of our community to consider serving on one of our city's boards, commissions, or committees. Thank you again, and I will turn the next part of the program to a video presentation, unless I'm corrected by staff. Yes? Keep reading. In the beginning, it was the best of times, it was the worst. Thank you, Councillor Clark. 2024 was a memorable year. Although we as a community have had ongoing challenges to address, there's much to acknowledge and a plethora of things to celebrate. I invite you now to enjoy a video presentation of just a few highlights of the accomplishments we have achieved together this year.
The City of Eugene continued to advance its strategic plan in 2024, fulfilling community priorities and making strides toward long-held goals. The downtown riverfront is abuzz with the opening of 95 market-rate residential apartment homes. The long-awaited City Hall opened, establishing a place for civic and community engagement, and includes a gallery for local artists to present their work, fostering engagement and reflection through art. Eugene City Council committed historic investments prioritizing the development of new housing. An accelerated multi-unit property tax exemption program and the downtown fee assistance pilot will help to accelerate new housing in the downtown core. The city's growth monitoring program launched an online dashboard that makes housing data easier to access and understand, including maps and charts related to Eugene's growth and development. The city continued to leverage finite resources and maintain important partnerships to access state and federal funds to support creating all types of shelter and housing through the Housing Implementation Pipeline. The city supported nearly 700 shelter spaces, while 10 new units of affordable rental housing opened for veterans exiting homelessness, and 40 affordable apartments were rehabilitated through St. Vincent de Paul. With $3.6 million from the city, Homes for Good broke ground on 2 buildings that will add 136 affordable housing units. 5 shelter providers and the city's homeless services team created the Eugene Shelter Consortium, committed to working collaboratively to improve care coordination and outcomes for people experiencing homelessness. The new public space team compassionately addresses the impacts of homelessness in public spaces, enhancing safety, cleanliness, and livability for the whole community. 4 years after its creation, the Climate Action Plan 2.0 is 61% implemented. The city received $10.6 million in federal and state funding to support renewable energy projects, energy efficiency upgrades in city facilities, and community resilience, and engaged nearly 800 residents and 100 local businesses to identify decarbonization strategies we are now putting into action. Eugene Springfield Fire's recruitment efforts significantly increased applicants in 2024, including a number of women who graduated from the academy. Funded by the Community Safety Payroll Tax, Eugene Springfield Fire increased community resilience by establishing a wildfire planning and fuels management program that provided defensible space surveys, worked with partners on large-scale fuels reduction efforts, and secured grant funding for the expansion of fuels reduction projects. The Community Safety Payroll Tax programs continue to balance compassion and accountability to improve Eugene for everyone. Community Court provides problem-solving and partnerships that connect people to services rather than jail. MyPD Connect, an online reporting portal, saw 8,000 reports filed in its first year, reducing call hold times and freeing up 911 call takers and officers. 20 agencies received small grants from the Youth Empowerment Program to serve marginalized youth with behavioral and adaptive needs. And, in response to the community's desire for alternatives to police, Eugene Police began embedding a Lane County behavioral health professional for mental health-related calls downtown. Mobile crisis services of Lane County rolled out in 2024, providing additional person-centered crisis services in Eugene and Lane County. Guided by the strategic plan, the city worked to increase transparency and communications in several ways in 2024. A newsroom webpage launched covering a wide range of city topics, and the Eugene Police Department launched a new podcast, Copy Up with Chief Chris Skinner, to provide firsthand accounts, expert advice, and behind-the-scenes stories straight from EPD. And Eugenians now have a more convenient and accessible way to submit public records requests online. Partnering with Onward Eugene and Lane Community College, 80 new childcare spots are now available through the city's new Early Child Care Grant Program, increasing accessible, high-quality childcare options while supporting local entrepreneurs in establishing impactful, community-oriented businesses. The Farmers Market Pavilion has become the home of the Lane County Farmers Market, Eugene Native American Arts and Craft Makers, and Lane Arts Council's First Friday Art Walk, and established itself as a revenue-generating venue for the city by hosting cultural celebrations, corporate meetings, private parties, dance workshops, and more. The Hult Center announced its biggest season of the Broadway in Eugene series, including its first-run presentation from Broadway. The Hult Center also organized education and engagement programs, including Bridge to Broadway, which served 575 youth through workshops, backstage tours, and subsidized tickets to performances. The Eugene Airport had its busiest passenger day ever as thousands of fans traveled for the Oregon versus Ohio State football game. The airport also completed significant infrastructure improvements, enhancing aircraft parking capacity and operational efficiency to support increased activity at the air cargo facility. Our nationally accredited Public Works Department improved safety along several Eugene streets with an emphasis on improving walking and biking. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard, Howard Avenue, High Street, and more all saw significant safety projects in 2024. Mayor Venice's Blue Ribbon Panel on Economic Development brought together a diverse group of experts, community leaders, and stakeholders to create actionable strategies to stimulate economic growth, enhance job creation, and foster a resilient economy. Eugene City Council endorsed the recommendations, and staff are creating an action plan to continue implementation. Looking ahead, construction continues at the downtown riverfront with the second residential housing building underway, anticipated to bring 130 market-rate apartments. The Riverfront Park Plaza is expected to open this summer, and progress will begin on Suzanne Arley Park's Mountain Bike Trails and Skills Park, made possible through a $1.2 million grant and the 2018 Parks and Recreation Bond. And key infrastructure will be placed in the area of West 11th and Crow Road for future housing developments. Eugenians can expect exciting developments in 2025, and we look forward to working together for all of Eugene.
Now it is my great honor to welcome to the podium, delivering the State of the City, Mayor Kaarin Knudson.
Thank you, Counselor. Good evening, everyone. I am so looking forward to the work that we are going to do together. But first, and before I get to my State of the City address, we are going to take a moment to look back and to offer some incredibly important thanks. The Bold Steps Awards program has been a collaborative partnership between the Office of Mayor, City of Eugene staff, and Bring's Rethink Business program since 2010. It is one of the initiatives that Mayor Venice championed throughout her 8 years in office after being initiated with Mayor Kitty Piercy. This program has recognized Eugene's businesses for their commitment to environmental stewardship, social equity, and economic vitality. Before introducing a video about the Bold Steps Awards program, I want to take this moment to reflect on the remarkable leadership of our outgoing Mayor, Lucy Venice. Under her leadership, Eugene has made remarkable progress in our efforts to advance sustainability, equity, and community resilience. Locally and nationally, she has worked tirelessly to support our city and to meet our community's needs. This work happens in the spotlight, it happens by lamplight, it's in public meetings, and it's behind the scenes, and that is the work of a dedicated mayor. Thank you, Mayor Lucy Venus, for your service and for all that you have given to this community. From the beginning, the Bold Steps Awards program has been a collaboration, and I also want to thank our incredible partners at Bring Recycling for their essential role in certifying businesses through the Rethink Business program. Not everything that matters in the world can be measured, but when it comes to sustainability and to economics, the metrics really do help us. The city's waste prevention team has also been an integral part of this program from the very beginning, working with both Mayor Piercy and Mayor Venus to guide and support the program. And so now it is my privilege to introduce a short reflection on the Bold Steps Awards, featuring some of our Bold Steps Award winners and also Mayor Lucy Venus.
Good evening. It's an honor to join you today in reflecting on the impact of the Bold Steps Award over the years. This award has been a symbol of our city's commitment to sustainability, celebrating businesses that have taken extraordinary strides in promoting social equity, environmental stewardship, and economic vitality. The triple bottom line that defines Eugene's vision for a sustainable future. The Bold Steps Award was established in 2010 as part of the Sustainable Business Initiative by former Mayor Kitty Piercy, who envisioned a program that would encourage businesses to prioritize sustainability as a core principle. The program expanded in 2014 through a partnership with Bring's Rethink program, allowing for even greater recognition of businesses making significant impacts. Since its inception, the Bold Steps Award has recognized forward-thinking local businesses that embody these values. Our past winners have gone beyond conventional business models. They have challenged norms, developed innovative practices, and demonstrated that economic success and sustainability are not just compatible, they're essential partners. Tonight, we honor not just individual achievements, but the collective impact these businesses have made on our community. As we transition into a new chapter with a new mayor, we are taking this moment to pause and reflect. While we won't be holding the Bold Steps Awards this year, we created this special retrospective video to showcase the lasting contributions of our past winners. These businesses have proven time and again that sustainability is more than a goal. It's a way of doing business that strengthens our entire community.
Hi, my name's Craig Runyon. I'm the Marketing Director at Pivot Architecture. The Bold Steps Award has been a program that's really been inspiring for us. It's recognized sustainable companies throughout Eugene, companies that are making an extra effort to highlight sustainability and make that a hallmark for their companies. Pivot was fortunate enough to be awarded in 2017, and we're honored to stand alongside such companies that make sustainability a value. It's fantastic that the City of Eugene recognizes people who are striving to make educational and inspirational and sustainable measures a value, and fantastic that they recognize, and we love to see further pushing the envelope of sustainability in other companies as well.
Hi, I am Jenny Bennett, the Market President of Summit Bank. Summit Bank was honored to receive the City of Eugene's Bold Steps Award in 2021. That was during the height of the pandemic. We were all on Zoom, and honestly, we've never been more happy. The recognition meant the world to our team, and it reaffirmed our commitment towards sustainability and green practices, not only here in Eugene, but across all of our Oregon-based offices. The Bold Steps Award has also enabled us to innovate impactful projects, including reducing our carbon footprint and increasing energy efficiency in all of our markets. It has also helped us grow our client base here in Eugene, as many of our clients share similar values. Since receiving the award, we've been recognized on Oregon's 100 Best Green Places to Work list. This acknowledgement reinforces our mission to be the best place to work and to bank. We extend our heartfelt thanks to the City of Eugene for this award and for your partnership in making our community a wonderful place to live, and in all honesty, the best place to live in Oregon. Go Eugene and go Ducks.
My name is Amy Baker, the owner of Threadbare Screen Printing, and we are based in Eugene, Oregon. Receiving the Bold Steps Award was a huge morale boost for my team because we do pride ourselves in being a sustainably minded t-shirt printing company. The opportunity to engage in the community and be recognized for our efforts on that front felt really good as a team. I really appreciate the City of Eugene recognizing these efforts and this initiative to recognize small businesses that are working on sustainability initiatives.
Each of our past winners has inspired us, whether by implementing innovative waste reduction strategies, fostering inclusive workplace environments, or leading groundbreaking environmental initiatives. Their work reminds us that sustainability is not a destination, but a journey, one that requires bold steps and shared responsibility. As we look ahead, I encourage all Eugene businesses to continue taking bold steps. The legacy of this award and the stories of its recipients will inspire future generations to pursue a more equitable and sustainable future. Thank you to all our Bold Steps winners for your leadership, innovation, and dedication to the values that make Eugene a special place to live and work. Together, let's keep taking bold steps.
Fantastic program. Now I have the pleasure of introducing this year's Community Service Award winners. Every year, the Community Service Awards recognize individuals and organizations who demonstrate excellence in leadership, a focus on building partnerships, and outstanding initiative in service to this community. Before I recognize this year's winners, however, I want to take one moment to honor people in our community who have passed away in 2024. Among the leaders, family, and friends who we lost, we honor Dallas Boggs, a dedicated leader and volunteer who served as Eugene Police Commissioner since 2020. His unwavering commitment to public safety, community service, mentorship, and networking touched countless lives. We honor Jeff Miller, a beloved former mayor of Eugene and a man of great faith. His contributions to public service and human rights issues left an indelible mark on our city. We honor Nadia Telsey for her lifelong dedication to empowerment, education, and advocacy for women, social justice, and self-defense. We honor Lily Reynolds Parker, a civil rights activist, educator, and leader in Eugene's work towards racial justice. Her impact on students and the community was profound, and her legacy continues to inspire us. And we honor Anita Johnson, a passionate journalist and civic leader whose work with Eugene Weekly and with our community initiatives have left a mark on our city that we will continue to appreciate and benefit from for years and years to come. Please join me in a moment of silence to remember the positive impact that these community members have had in our lives, both as individuals and as a city. Thank you. And now I'm pleased to present this year's Community Service Awards to 3 honorees who truly went above and beyond to help move us forward through some challenging, urgent, and community-defining issues. Our first honoree, Nancy Bray and the Friendly Area Neighbors Equity Action Team. Nancy is a founding member for the Friendly Area Neighbors Equity Action Team, a group formed in the fall of 2017 in response to increasing hate crimes and graffiti incidents in the Friendly Area neighborhood. The team is dedicated to fostering a diverse, inclusive, safe, and welcoming neighborhood environment. Through her work with Friendly Area Neighbors, Nancy has coordinated several mural projects that celebrate local history and community values. These projects include the murals at Dr. Edwin Coleman Jr. Community Center, the Willamette Wetlands of the Kalapuya mural, and the Washington Park Earthly Reverence mural. These thoughtfully creative works have not only beautified the area, but also serve as a reminder of the importance of cultural preservation and community pride. The Washington Park mural in particular includes many local designs contributed by elementary students, highlighting the community's collaborative spirit, and I would encourage you to visit them all. They are beautiful and wonderful additions to our community. In honor of their commitment to diversity and community service, I'm proud to present Nancy Bray and the Friendly Area Neighbors Equity Action Team this certificate of appreciation that reads, "In recognition for your outstanding contributions to education, community engagement, and cultural preservation, your work has enriched the lives of many and fostered a more inclusive and supportive community." Congratulations, Nancy and the Friendly Area Neighbors Equity Action Team. And we've asked all of our honorees to please share a few remarks.
On behalf of our team, thank you for this award. Our goal has been to create murals with a message, and we appreciate the city for its support. Our mural project started in 2018 after the City Council renamed the Community Center in Westmoreland Park for Dr. Edwin Coleman Jr. I knew Dr. Coleman, and it was a privilege to work with Charmaine Coleman on this project. The first mural on the south wall features Dr. Coleman and was created by Jesselyn Brinkerhoff. A signboard by this mural tells about his life and legacy. The second mural on the west wall, and created by Esteban Camacho Stephenson, features Dr. Coleman's passions, social justice, and music. It shows both Ed and Charmaine Coleman with civil rights leaders, some of whom they met, and musicians with whom he performed. Middle school students at Boys and Girls Club, working with Jesselyn Brinkerhoff, made designs for the third mural, Building a Better, More Just, and Equitable World. They learned about Dr. Coleman and brought what they learned into their present and future with their designs. We would like to dedicate these three murals in memory of Ed and Charmaine Coleman, longtime advocates for civil and human rights. The fourth mural on the Coleman Center, Willamette Wetlands of the Kalapuya, was a collaboration with Beyond Toxics and Parks and Open Space. Susan Applegate and Esther Stutzman were the creative team. The wetlands to the east and west of the center are remnants of the wet prairies that used to cover this area before development, and have protected status due to native plants of significance to the Kalapuya. We have ongoing work parties in these wetlands to reduce invasive plants to help the native plants to flourish. Our next work party is this Saturday, January 18th, in the wetland by Polk Street, and we welcome more volunteers. Our newest mural is Earthly Reverence, Every Living Thing is Our Relation, on Washington Park Community Center. 200 elementary students from Adams Elementary, Cesar Chavez Elementary, 4J Natives Program, Boys and Girls Club, and Eugene Arte Latino contributed designs that were incorporated into the mural by Mural Mice Universal. The Kalapuya and Earthly Reverence murals helped us build strong relationships with several members of the Native American community. Without them, these murals wouldn't have happened. We would like to thank City of Eugene Office of Equity and Community Engagement for the neighborhood matching grants and the many, many fan neighbors and community members who helped us raise the matching funds. For our Earthly Reverence mural, we would also like to thank City of Eugene Cultural Services, Lane County Cultural Coalition, and Oregon Cultural Trust. You can find more information about Friendly Area Neighbors and our Equity Action Team on FAN's website, friendlyareaneighbors.org. You can request a tour of the murals or get information about our work parties by emailing friendlyareaneighbors@gmail.com. Thank you to the City of Eugene for supporting our murals and public art.
Our next Community Award honoree is Dan Bryant. Dan has dedicated countless years to addressing the community's homelessness crisis, making a significant impact through his compassionate leadership and innovative solutions. His work has transformed the lives of many individuals and families, providing them with a path to stability. From his service at the First Christian Church, where he served as pastor for 29 years, Dan has been a pillar of support for people living on the streets. His commitment to offering shelter and essential services has made a tangible difference in the lives of Eugene's most vulnerable residents. As the executive director of Square One Villages, Dan has been incredibly active, creative, and responsive in meeting the needs of people without housing. Under his leadership, Square One Villages has developed self-managed communities and affordable housing solutions that have provided lasting positive impacts on the community. Square One's innovative approach has set a benchmark for addressing homelessness, not only in Eugene, but also in surrounding communities, and I would also add across the nation. This work is a model all across our country. In honor of his dedication to alleviating homelessness and his compassionate service to the community, I am proud to present Dan Bryant this certificate of appreciation that reads, "In recognition of your outstanding contributions to addressing homelessness, providing shelter and affordable housing, and for your innovative solutions in creating self-managed communities. Your tireless efforts have brought hope and stability to countless individuals and families." Congratulations, Dan. Please come on up to the stage.
Thank you, mayors present and past. I know Kitty and Lucy are out there somewhere. I can't quite see you in the lights, but their support, their support in this work has also been phenomenal. And I'm so thrilled with Mayor Knudson now, because she truly understands the roots of this problem. And while we celebrate lots of good news, and the video showed some of that, even showed a nice aerial shot of one of our projects, Opportunity Village, in its new home on Roosevelt. I'm here to share a little bit of bad news before I share the good news. The homeless by name count, those who follow that provides us month-to-month reporting on how we're doing. December was the highest December on record in the 5 years of unhoused people in our community, and only the second highest in the 5 years that we have been keeping this data. That is not good news. We still have a long ways to go. The good news is that the increase in the homeless by name count in 2024 was just 1%. It's still an increase, but you may be aware that nationwide the increase is 18%. So the fact that we have hopefully leveled off is, I think, a hopeful sign that we're starting to head in the right direction. But the reality is 3 out of every 4 unhoused people in this community still have no place to go, not even shelter. And we're doing better there simply because we have added so many shelter beds in our community, which I also celebrate. So we've made suffering a little easier for a number of folk, but we still have a long ways to go. But thanks to the incredible support, both of the people at the church that, as Kaarin said, I served for 29 years, as well as Square One Villages, and we have several of the board members who are here today. I'm very appreciative of all of the work that you do and the incredible support that we have had in the last 12 years since we founded Square One in helping to find a solution to this problem. I got into this work because at the church, like the old story goes, of the of the person who was pulling drowning people out of the river and recruited a lot of other people to help, and then finally walked away, and people said, "Where are you going?" And said, "I'm going upstream to try to figure out why people are falling into the river." That's what has been my story. And I truly believe the solution that Square One has come up with, largely thanks to my co-founder and successor, Andrew Heben, who, with the rest of the staff, came up with this concept of combining a community land trust with limited equity co-ops to create a new model of affordable housing, that this truly is a big part of the solution, because the current way we do affordable housing will never solve the problem. There's simply not enough money in the system to ever solve the problem. So we have to have new creative solutions. And I'm just very pleased through the work of Square One that we're helping to make that kind of difference. We have 4 different projects lined up, and with several others that we are in conversation with. So I'm very hopeful that we will continue to provide a true place for people to call home in our community who otherwise would not have any. So thank you very much for this recognition.
And our third Community Award honoree is Guadalupe Quinn. Guadalupe Quinn has dedicated her life to advocating for immigrant communities and championing social justice in Eugene, Oregon. After immigrating to the United States with her family in 1951, she grew up in California before moving to Oregon in 1978, where she spent over 25 years as a community organizer, activist, and advocate. Guadalupe has been unwavering in her commitment to human rights and social justice, and has spent most of her life working towards racial justice, economic justice, workers' rights, and immigrant rights. Throughout her career, Guadalupe has collaborated with numerous organizations and groups, including the City of Eugene Human Rights Commission, NAACP, ACLU, 4J Racial Justice Task Force, Latino Coalition, Communities Against Hate, the Network for Immigrant Justice, and Amigos Multicultural Service Center. Her dedication to building alliances and working across issues and communities has been key to all of her human rights and social justice work. Guadalupe continues her work today with the United for Immigrant Justice, Grupo Latino de Acción Directa de Lane County, Latinx Alliance of Lane County, Plaza de Nuestra Comunidad as a board member, Communities United Against Hate, Juntos Advisory Committee, the Oregon Department of Education, Latino and Indigenous Advisory Group, and so many more. In recognition for her unwavering dedication to immigrant communities and her impactful activism, I am proud to present Guadalupe Quinn with the Certificate of Appreciation that reads, "In recognition for your outstanding contributions to immigrant communities and social justice, your work has enriched the lives of many and fostered a more inclusive and supportive community. Congratulations, Guadalupe. Please come to the stage to accept your award."
Por cierto, sí se puede. Muchas gracias. I so appreciate the recognition from the city and just the acknowledgement. I'm very honored and humbled. I also want to acknowledge that none of the work that I do or any of us do is done in isolation. It really does take a village. And so I want to acknowledge and thank this community for the many ways in which it has created not just opportunities, but has invited me to be at the table and to participate in making this a better community and a better world, and to make sure that everyone who lives here feels safe, welcome, respected, and is a member of this community. Thank you so much. I really appreciate this.
we get to the state of our city. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Eugene. City Council, City Manager, elected officials, tribal leadership, dedicated staff, colleagues, friends, dear family, all of you here in this room and those of us zooming in from afar or watching this meeting sometime in the future that we are walking into. It is so wonderful to have you here. Welcome, everyone. Because here we are, in the thriving heart of the southern Willamette Valley, Oregon's second largest city, our extraordinary Emerald Shire, a city that is both great and the greatest, a sanctuary shaped by wild, still waters, a pastoral and promising tree city, sister to Jinju, Kathmandu, and Kakagawa, and the one and only Tracktown, USA. Thank you all for the care and service that you give to our community. It is an absolute honor to be your 40th mayor. I'm so grateful to begin by celebrating the contributions of community leaders like Guadalupe, Dan, Nancy, and the Fan Equity team, and more than a decade of Bold Steps honorees from across our business community. These kinds of contributions are in our civic DNA. And looking around this room and across our community, I want to begin by acknowledging just how privileged I am to have this very unique perspective. Because here I am, looking out at you, and I see you. I see a field of talented, passionate, thoughtful people, valued partners, and a community that is devoted to the well-being and the betterment of a very particular place. And here you are, together, looking back in the same direction, all together, at roughly the same thing. And that moment together is no small thing. I promise we will do this more. Like you, I'm looking ahead, ready for the work before us, mindful of the challenges that we will face, and motivated by the opportunities that we share. Our future will be shaped by the depth of our connections, the strength of our partnerships, and our ability to hold shared values at a time when so much energy seems to be focused on pulling apart. Sometimes in that context and in our world, it can be incredibly easy to forget the unique assets that make Eugene so special, especially when compared to other cities of our size or even to cities much larger. It begins with our still, wild river and our clean water. But it's also the abundance of nearby farms, our immediate access to higher education, groundbreaking research, and economic opportunity, the intellectual capital of our flagship university and colleges, the local commitments to education and public schools, to libraries and to library cards, the hands-on social innovations of our nonprofit sector, and the idea generators who elevate our local industries. It's the sprouting recreational capacity of our open spaces and the charm that comes with internationally renowned events happening just around the corner. Because not everywhere can you just pop down the street for a world premiere performance or a world record moment. Even our sky-high engagement with civic life, it's enviable, especially in these times. It's a strength to live in a community that cares so actively, conscious of the legacy that we are leaving and focused on how we are shaping that legacy with our actions every day. This is consistent, disciplined work, creative work towards goals that are just outside of our grasp until the moment that they're not. This very building is an example, the Hult Center for the Performing Arts, a project funded entirely by local private donors and a third pitch to voters in 1978. It takes a lot to put something back on the ballot a second time. Imagine what it took to think about a third try. That's a hard-fought outcome. Work that was done by people who are holding on to a dream and wanting to build a bridge into a future and to a better community. And I truly believe that we all share this determination to help make something special happen here. It is part of why people say all around the country, and I know you've heard it too, "You're from Eugene?" I love Eugene. I love Eugene. And I love Eugene too. We have these intangible and obvious built assets, but so many of them track back to our people. Some of those people are in this room with us right now. Some are resting in peace and power. Some have just newly arrived. People who all made the powerful decision to truly invest their energy here, to invest their energy in us. There's no mistaking that this is a place that believes in itself, even if we sometimes grumble about that very quality that we hold so dear. We believe that we can do things differently, and we believe that we can do them better. And that is a wholly unique proposition, a sincere, competitive advantage, and it's something that we should never overlook. For the past 18 months, I've had the opportunity to spend time with people all across our community, knocking on doors in every neighborhood, but also with groups and at gatherings, listening to how people care about this place and also about their concerns. Everyone wants to know how it is that we are going to rise to meet the challenges of our time. How will our city make progress on particularly complex issues like housing and homelessness, infrastructure, the economy, equity, climate, within a national and global context that seems absolutely defined by systemic crises and a completely unwieldy feeling of political division? Can our city choose to be a lantern? And so tonight, I would like to reflect a little bit on stability and opportunity, and the specific ways that we can nurture both. They are both part of what we love about this place, and we've chosen to invest our lives here. They're part of why. And the city plays a crucial role in support. Housing is the foundation of opportunity in every community, for every person and family across all backgrounds and incomes. Housing availability allows young families, workers, artists, and businesses to say, yeah, this is absolutely the place that we want to invest our lives. And I think we can make it work. That's a decision that probably sounds familiar to many people in this room. You may have made a decision like that in your own life. An accessible and affordable housing market has made Eugene attractive for decades. But today, 45% of our community is housing cost burdened, meaning they're paying too much for the housing that they are struggling to hang on to, with renters especially bearing the brunt. Housing costs are increasing at a rate about twice that of the increase in our incomes, and our vacancy rate has averaged well below 5% for over a decade. This is a truly unforgiving context for our families and children to have so little housing available. The lack of available affordable housing is the root of our homelessness crisis. For those without housing or shelter, every day is a traumatic and destabilizing experience. But housing is not just a necessity and a human right. It's also a prerequisite for the vitality and dynamism and prosperity that we want to grow here. It's a foundation, but also a springboard. A commitment to addressing this crisis is one of the reasons why I ran for mayor. And I look forward to working across all scales and with all of our committed partners who are deeply invested in this work. We all want to see our community grow in ways that are healthy and supportive of an affordable quality of life. And we know from thought-leading research organizations like the National Low-Income Housing Coalition that increasing access to affordable housing is the most cost-effective strategy for reducing childhood poverty in the United States. And we know that access to stable housing supports economic mobility, school readiness, and it helps to close the racial wealth gap. These outcomes underscore why I'm framing housing through the lens of stability and opportunity. They represent all that we gain as a community when we commit to improving our housing options. For example, the housing reform work that Eugene undertook to design our middle housing code has been recognized as one of the most significant steps towards racial justice and housing justice in our entire history. This thoughtful re-regulation process has also been productive in creating new housing opportunities, because thanks to these reforms, which allow for diversity of housing options and prioritize affordability, so far we're seeing somewhere around 100 new units per year, spread all throughout the city, a city with more than 83,000 existing residential addresses. About 100 units new a year in just this last couple of years. So while that change isn't radical by any stretch, it's significant, because in just those few years, these regulatory changes are on track to spur what could be $50 million in new housing investment. And these new homes, the reason to applaud that is that they are helping us meet our housing crisis. And what's important to keep in mind is that they mostly didn't need any public funding. They simply needed for us to enact policies that allowed for them to exist. At about that same time, we also created the Affordable Housing Trust Fund in just these last few years to support the construction of new affordable housing. And so tonight I want to highlight the power of this three-pronged approach: reducing costs and improving regulation while identifying strategic funding. This approach holds tremendous potential for us as we work together to create sustainable housing options, and that is going to especially be true in downtown Eugene. Because most of downtown Eugene, maybe all of downtown Eugene, still has a lower residential density than most of our typical neighborhoods. And that statistic should tell you almost everything you need to know about why downtown has struggled. Vibrant places need people power. They need concentrations of energy. That's us. That's what people bring to spaces and places. And our city center should be where residential density is highest. Downtown needs people to support local businesses, to start small businesses, to activate public spaces, and to breathe life into our city center. It's the housing that holds the people, and we need people in downtown. During my campaign, I spoke about the need for a downtown housing initiative, and so tonight I will announce a challenge that builds on our current plans. We need to build 1,000 new units of housing in downtown in the next 5 years. And we need at least 200 of those units to be in the downtown core. This is double our current housing production rate, and also a huge challenge because 0 units of housing have been built in the downtown core in the past 5 years. And the shift in the trajectory that we are on is the work that we have before us. That's the work that we need to do. It's that first step and push. So to meet this goal, the city will need to identify multiple new housing development sites each year, reform our processes to reduce cost and time, and ensure that downtown has the public safety support that it needs. We will need to continue to work as an effective partner to bring financial tools to the table and to look for ways that the city can partner with housing developers, both affordable housing developers and market rate housing developers, and the developers who are doing both. I'll support aligning resources to our housing needs, and I'll work with City Council and staff to communicate our citywide strategies for supporting housing production. I know that our City Council cares deeply about this work because this work helps us economically, environmentally, and socially, and council actions from 2024 and years prior are all on this same trajectory, same set of ideas about working to improve our city center. And 1/2 acre at a time, we will repair downtown and re-inhabit our downtown core with new neighbors and the social life of cities. This kind of initiative will deliver the housing we need, but it will also support local jobs, spur economic development, and model sustainable growth, because we are always doing more than one thing at a time, even when that work looks like it is just one step. As we're meeting our housing goals, Eugene will also be growing into a safer, greener, and more beautiful city. As an architect and urban designer, I care deeply about how we build our community. I'm looking at it all the time. And how we design and shape our city impacts people for generations. Eugene has long been listed among the most livable cities in our country, and our green spaces and parks and trails are a huge part of the reason why. Our parks and open space network, the expansion of conservation areas, and the visionary plans for our Ridgeline and Riverside open space systems, these are all amazing examples of generational investments in this place and of the power of a community that sees itself as part of a larger legacy. But in most cities, streets, public streets, make up 80% of all public space. And the beauty of our public streets should live up to the beauty of our parks and open spaces. They're very different spaces with very different sets of needs, but the design of our streets and sidewalks support our quality of life and our connections to each other. Their quality and connectivity support friendships, economic development, and public health. People who live within walking distance of a park and have a safe route to walk there, they live longer, happier, healthier, and less stressed lives. That's part of why I love Eugene. That's the type of opportunity that we want for everyone here to have access to. Surrounded by such extraordinary green spaces, I often think about the ways in which we can weave these natural connections throughout our city to ensure that everyone has such easy access. And I'm thinking a lot about questions like this. How can we celebrate the unique character of our neighborhoods and our urban public spaces while honoring the beauty that is all around us? This work can happen in generational projects like the transformation of Franklin Boulevard and with key bicycle corridors or pedestrian safety and beautification projects in our neighborhoods. It can happen in all the work that we do. It's just a matter of holding that focus and holding that vision. Because when we think about safety in public space, we have to focus on design, not just behavior. Because design influences behavior in profound, continuous ways. Street design, in particular, is designing for safety. Streets are our most dangerous public spaces, and in Eugene, we want to make it safer for people to drive and also to walk and to bike, and easier for them to take advantage of our transit system. The average household in Eugene spends 23% of their income on transportation each year. That's an average of $12,000 every year. So transportation options that save people money support overall affordability, and they are among the most influential climate actions that we can take. I will actively support all of the work to better connect us and to make Eugene a more beautiful city. Of course, our public spaces must also be safe and accessible to everyone. Everyone in Eugene should be able to enjoy our public spaces without worrying about harassment, profiling, or violence. We have significant work to do on this front. The work is complex, but also with more urgency than ever, we must address the ongoing crisis of our unhoused population and the repercussions of homelessness. No city solves homelessness alone. We both need and have very strong partners in this work, and we will build more partnerships as we go. Those current partnerships reach from the governor's office to our incredible legislative delegation, Lane County leadership, dedicated nonprofit organizations, and a civically minded business community, as well as to all of you. In this work, we are part of a team, and we absolutely have some players. The outcomes that Lane County delivered with Governor Kotek's first round of all-in funding were literally off the charts, surpassing every goal. More than 1,900 people stabilized in their housing, 244 households permanently housed, more than 300 new emergency shelter beds provided, and round 2 of this work by Lane County is on a similar track. And recently, Recently, leaders from all 3 sectors have supported the launch of Act Now Lane, underscoring the importance of partnership and of incorporating diverse public, private, nonprofit expertise to move the needle on structural systemic challenges. I've been part of that work over this past few years, and I am very encouraged by the mobilization of this local capacity. In this work, the City of Eugene's catalytic role has been to advocate for innovative shelter solutions and expand the range of shelter types that qualify for state funding. As the population center of the county with a nation-leading per capita rate of homelessness, the crisis of homelessness looks different here. The recent work that our city and our neighbors and our community partners have done to stand up our innovative shelter consortium and solutions is helping to save lives and reduce conflict and mitigate harm. And for that, I am grateful to all of the people who have been a part of that work. We know that homelessness is a housing problem. But as we build the housing we need, shelter is an important supporting step. In this coming session at our legislature, I will advocate for state funding to stabilize our shelter capacity, and I will be part of our city's efforts to inform a statewide comprehensive framework for homelessness. That is part of how we do this work together. We have a lot to do, understatement of my early 2025, and we have a lot more to talk about. But I am going to close now in just a moment because we also have a duck and a titan and a beacon, as well as refreshments out in the lobby, and I would love for you to meet them and also spend some time with each other. I hope you'll join me there in just a moment. But first I want to say that as our city's only citywide elected official, the mayor has a unique responsibility to foster civic engagement, support communication, and uphold the public trust. I promised to be accessible and proactive in this work, and I will. Many of you know that I love a coffee meeting or a meeting that's literally on a run. We can also go for a walk. But I'm happy and I'm hoping that you will also invite me back to your front porches. Over the next year, I'll coordinate a series of informal community porch tours with neighbors and businesses all around Eugene. Please take note. Please send an email. We will follow up. These meetings will be a chance for us to connect and for me to hear your thoughts about the most important issues that are facing you where you live and work. I loved the experience of talking with people at their front doors in this last year and a half. It's incredibly gracious sharing that so many people in our community chose to do. In addition to this work, I will continue to champion models of equitable engagement and approaches that ensure that we're hearing from a representative cross-section of our community. This innovative approach to community involvement gives us a richer and more diverse picture of our needs, which helps our solutions to be better. So you'll also see me share regular updates on weekly events and public meetings, and you'll see stories of our work from all around the city. Accessibility is a priority on my calendar, and as mayor, I hope to get to know you better in these months and years ahead. And through me, I hope that you will feel that you know your city better. Tonight, I shared some of the key challenges and opportunities that we have ahead: creating affordable, accessible housing, building safer, greener, and more vibrant public spaces, and fostering deeper civic engagement across our entire community. These priorities will guide us as we work together to shape a future that is rooted in equity and sustainability and connection to each other. One of my goals is to help you see all the ways in which our city is working for you and to bridge the gaps in our understanding so that we can meet our challenges head on. It needs to be a two-way street. We're working on a place where everyone feels that they have a chance to thrive and that their voice is heard. And I hope that you feel deeply connected through this work to the generations before us who added their part and also to the future